Okay, so the process of training, to put a more fine point on this, involves a careful assessment of the physiologic adaptations that are necessary for the performance, and then programming your preparation activities to improve those physiologic adaptations. Yep. All right. So, baseball, just to pick a sport at random. Baseball.
Well, before you do that, let me just say, let's be clear on how you accomplish. You have two choices. You've got structural and you've got metabolic, and that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Those are the tails of the curve.
Those are the two choices.
Right.
All right. So, and they're going to overlap, and you have to decide which one's going to give you the most return on the investment.
Exactly. How important is endurance in baseball?
Right.
It is of virtually no importance at all.
Or said a different way, Rip, how important is it that you need to do anything other than play baseball to gain that endurance?
Yes. All right. Right.
Because people will say, well, you got to...
To the extent that practice of the sport, that field practice of the sport, and we're going to talk about practice more later, field practice of the sport provides a metabolic or a physiologic stress.
Right.
Is that stress acquired during the practice of the sport sufficient in order to force the adaptation toward that end? And usually it is.
Yeah.
If you're practicing any length of time. But in baseball, what is the longest flurry of activity that takes place in a baseball game?
A 30-yard sprint, maybe?
10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yep.
The man hits the ball into the outfield. The fielder runs, catches the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If it bounces once, he catches the ball, he throws the ball. We're still dealing with periods of time that are under 10 seconds long. Every once in a while, some shit happens around the bases that takes longer than 10 seconds. But at no point are we doing long, slow distance on the baseball field.
Right. In other words, nothing that it would be even consequential for a young athletic person who can run, throw a ball, catch, dive for the ball.
Right.
The guy can already do this stuff.
The guy can already do any endurance aspect of anything encountered on the field. Yeah. Therefore, for baseball, there is no endurance component of that activity that needs to be trained for. Okay? Now, on the other hand, everything that happens in a baseball game involves the application of high levels of force against the ground, against the bat, against the ball, occasionally against an opponent. But these are all explosive strength activities. So what should training look like for baseball? Should look like strength training, shouldn't it? Right? Now, of the training things that we do, endurance, strength, for baseball, where's most of it?
It's force production.
Like Nick said, it's force production. It's force production. It's the opposite end of the curve from endurance. And a baseball team that runs laps is coached by a fool.
That runs laps in order to get better at baseball, because that happens.
Well, happens. Why else would they be running laps?
To warm up or whatever the fuck, who knows?
Well, the thing is, those coaches, it's so easy just to say, go run laps.
Sure, yeah.
Instead of actually doing their job.
Right, because they're not that smart.
Yeah.
Coaches don't think about it. This is why I made the comment earlier about that your brother-in-law who's the high school football coach, go get him.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't thought about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
All right, and he should have, but he hadn't.
Yeah, and what happens at practice is going to be up to the coaches and people outside of your control. But a way to think about this is that what should you be doing outside of the gym to support your sport, right? So again, you have the two choices: should you be strength training, or should you be doing sprints? Should you be running on a treadmill? Should you be working on your cardio.
When you're saying outside the gym,
I'm sorry, outside the sport,
the field,
in the gym, outside the field,
outside the field of play,
right.
Whether the field of play is in the gym, like the basketball gym,
exactly.
Yeah, that's what he meant by that.
In other words, the strength and conditioning. What should your strength and conditioning look like?
What should the strength and conditioning, which is the training component,
exactly?
What should they look like?